and all that we do and all that we give. We are very blessed to be here. My topic today, because I just couldn't think of a topic, I just made it, I titled it This Life Thing, to talk about life and yeah, things about life. So first, what I'd like to do is read something from the Science of Mind textbook. It's on page 38. And it says, we are a thinking, willing, knowing, conscious centers of life. We are surrounded by, immersed in, and there is flowing through us a creative something. Call it what you will. The sum total of all our thought, will, purpose, and belief creates a tendency in this law that causes it to react to us according to the sum total of that belief. And that just in that there, really, it does sum it up wonderfully, you know, that we have that creative spirit, that we are the voice of spirit on earth, and that we that comes through us. And each of us has a different way of expressing that. That's the individual expression of the divine that comes through each and every one of us. What I had heard a saying, I listened to a lot of YouTubes, and I heard this. It was so simple. It was, we're born, we live, and we die. And I thought, wow, yeah, that's right. It's so simple. So, but the point is what do I want to do with my life? You know, what is this life thing, and what can we do with this life? And it just jarred me into thinking about life, and life being really a series of choices that we make. We make choices based on our understanding at any given time. We make choices. Sometimes these choices don't serve our highest good or anybody else's. Other times they do, but we always have that new day that we wake up and we can choose again. Every 24 hours, we can choose again if we begin to live in a more conscious way of ourselves and what we're doing. This led me on to think about, I'm sure if you have any Catholic background, or maybe not, but the 7 deadly sins. And so I had to look them up because I couldn't remember all 7 of them, but they are envy, lust, pride, greed, wrath, gluttony, and sloth. And what I began to see is that a lot of my problems personally, and the problems of the world, I can find something in those 7 deadly sins that I can relate that to. And, you know, as a studier of spiritual teachings on all different levels throughout my life, you know, there's some just basic principles here that you can find to look at and realize, where am I off track? You know, if things aren't going so right, what is it that I need to do? And I like this one here. It says, pride severs the soul from grace. Pride severs the soul from grace. Many years ago, I had a sponsor in recovery, and she was very, very, very helpful to me. Very helpful to me. But at one point, after a couple of years, she couldn't sponsor me anymore. She's like, you got your pride. You know, she just couldn't cut through something she saw with this pride issue that I have, that I'm aware of now more, you know, as we dig deeper, looking into ourselves, and just how that wrecks things up. And I don't know, there's just some simplified ways that we can address ourselves. And, you know, it really comes down to, I mean, we've all gone through different childhoods and backgrounds and raised different ways, some in better than others and whatnot. But, you know, the importance of letting go of the past, recognizing what it created as you in a given moment, and then taking the opportunity when we come of age to start to make those choices, to see how what happened in our past maybe it colored how we see and how we view our world today, and if we like it, what we see. Because if we don't, then we have an opportunity to change it and to know that it can be good. I love this teaching, The Science of Mind. I love the steps of recovery. I personally feel that these spiritual tools have been just the best thing that I've come across, the principles that are in all of that, you know, and that, you know, God is good, the goodness of God, the grace of God, all of these things we have access to, like Will says in his meditation. It's all right there. But am I closing myself up to that, or am I opening myself up to it? Am I resisting, or am I allowing? Mm-hmm. You know, Ginger and I were having a conversation at the beginning of the service today about the idea of capitalism in our country, and how people that work don't feel like they're working for themselves because they're working for a company, and so they're unhappy. And I said, well, people, it's all on how we choose to look at it. You know, you're working for yourself. I mean, if we could just take everything and see it as if it were your own business. Your own business is what you do in your square, and it's not compared to what anybody else is doing. And see the good, and shift the thinking to the good. And I'll tell you, it's tough when we go out there. I know for me too. I try to go in with that attitude, but you know, and then there's even circumstances in our own lives that just can really feel like they suck the life out of you too, you know. But again, we can wake up that every 24 hours and renew and refresh. I was kind of went off on another little different angle here, just thinking about the times that we live in right now. Mm-hmm. And I like this one saying that life is chaotic and ambiguous. I thought, that's true. That's why they say having structure is good. But I was thinking about how we are certainly living in some intense, challenging times, politically, socially, culturally, environmentally. We have an abundance of information available to us at our fingertips. We can know anything we want to know. All you got to do is press your button on your phone and ask Siri. She'll tell you really quick. It's great. I do it with my grandson. What did we do the other day? I wanted to know how many cat years equals human years. And Siri told us. Pretty fascinating stuff. It's different than dogs. Just saying. But that's amazing. You know, I think when I was in college and I had to write a paper and I was looking up something, I was running around Oakland looking for the chemistry library so I could find the book, so I could write and find this word that I didn't even know what the heck it meant, so I could write a paper on it. You know, for God's sakes, I mean, now we just go beep, 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 beep. And it's all right there. Wow. It's like Bewitched came true. I love Bewitched. She was my favorite. It was my favorite show. One of my favorite shows. I just want to wiggle my nose and make it happen. And, you know, on some level, we kind of got close to that, you know. Think of the devices that we have, our phones, our watches. They tell us how much we walk, how much oxygen's in our blood, what our heart rate is, what our blood pressure is. We can bring in music of any type that we like. We can listen to talks of anything. I mean, it is phenomenal what we have. Cars that don't need gas. We have cars that don't need gas now. That's just, you know, I had a Prius for a long time, a couple of them, and it was gas and electric, but now we have them that's just electric. Truly amazing things in our lifetime that we've gotten to experience. And then along with that, though, is this pandemic that struck us with this unknown virus, closing schools, workplaces, theaters. It changed the whole world as we know it. Right. It's interesting how we see all this fascinating stuff, and then all of a sudden there's this other thing that comes in and sort of says, whoo, puts a halt. We're told to stay away from each other. Put your mask on. Don't go out. Get this crazy radical new vaccine that we don't know what it's going to do to you, but just do it. And, you know, I was okay with that, and I did. And a lot of people were okay, and they did. But there's a lot of people that aren't okay and didn't want to and didn't. And that's okay, too, I feel. Because, you know, it blows my mind that, again, that's just perspective and how people look at things. But I think we've really had an opportunity to see the divisiveness in our country over the past 10 years, first from a political standpoint, and maybe this is still considered a political, I think, you know, issue as well. I'm not sure, but so, you know, how do we come back together? You know, how do we, you know, we're doing this on Zoom, and I love it because I can just wake up and get ready and get my coffee and do it. But yeah, you know, I value connection, human connection. I was watching a study though that was saying that, you know, baby boomer age, you know, people tend to like that connection because this is what we knew, this is what we've known and what we've grown up with. But the next generation, you know, they're much more comfortable with just texting. I don't think they don't seem to need the social interaction as much. This was just some study. I don't know how valid that is, but it was interesting, you know. And with the kids now and the communication, they play games with other people across nations that they'll never meet. So it's a whole different thing, and how that affects them is going to be another thing as well. So fascinating or frightening, or a little of both, we've experienced some radical transformations. But we're here. We made it. Whew. Do you ever feel like that? Oh my God. I didn't make it here. I'm still here. So yeah, we did. And it's pretty awesome, pretty amazing stuff. Maybe because we study science and mind, huh? I think. So to get back to my choices and the 7 deadly sins and all of that, what I propose is that we, you know, each take time to begin to know who we are. I think we tend to live so external, what's going on out there, who's doing what to me, which really doesn't matter. What we need to do is see within ourselves, who am I and how am I showing up, and how can I try to show up better in life? What is that with that creative juice inside of me that wants to come through? Because we all have that. We all have that till the day we die. We want it. We're creators on all different levels. And I believe that we are creators of goodness and of the good that life is and has to offer. So like I said, I think we first must see within ourselves those things about ourselves that don't serve our highest good. So what is anybody doing today that is really not serving their highest good? And make some conscious decisions about maybe making some changes with that. You know, what can I do today? Maybe I can eat a little bit better. I'm going to take that little walk that I've been thinking about, or go to the gym and exercise. Take time to meditate. Take time to just call somebody and chat. Just simple things. And then I think we have to believe that there is a greater version of our own selves that seeks to express itself. You know, and some could look at this as knowing there's a God, or knowing however you want to view that statement, but to know and understand that there is a greater expression of who we are all the time within us. And not that we aren't great just in this moment too. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong in this moment. I think this moment is important. It is the moment, and really the moment, only the moment that we have. You know, we have to find ways to release the past, and we can plan for the future, but again, it's ambiguous. It's not guaranteed. But plan, if we, I've heard it said that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So it's good to have a plan. I can't say I'm necessarily a great planner. I kind of go with the flow thing, and that works pretty well. So having a plan and having things mapped out too is helpful, but I think also to allow yourself to be a little loose with that and not so concrete, and allow life to show itself. Because sometimes we get in the way of that, thinking that we know something better. Oftentimes something better knows, and we just need to allow ourselves to be open to what that might be. We can be our best friend or our worst enemy. There's a book I'm sure a lot of you have heard of called The Game of Life and How to Play It. It's written by Florence Scovel Shinn. Rebecca used to talk about this a lot. They have it on audiobook, and I really like this. I like this book. The only part is she gives examples of stories, which some people like a lot of that. I kind of like, I'm a get to the point kind of person. Tell me the principle. Let me do it. And I was listening to some of that too, and there's a lot of little phrases that come from the Bible, but there's a lot of phrases that come from a lot of places that have good metaphysical meaning. One here, the seek ye first the kingdom of God, which is the divine power within. The kingdom of God is the divine power of goodness of ourselves within, and to seek that, which relates to that self-awareness. What is it? What am I doing? What part am I playing in this life? Also that we are mirrors that reflect back to us what it is that we are at any given time. And if we don't like what we're reflecting and what we're getting back, then we need to really take a look at what that is. And I can't say enough about the prayer partners, the practitioners, friends in this organization that have been extremely helpful for me, that I have just recently reached out to over a situation, and after talking and doing treatment, experienced a tremendous shift in circumstances. It's amazing. It truly is amazing, and I'm grateful for all of you. Look with wonder at that which is before you. Bless the past and the future, and live in the present. Learn affirmations. I don't know if everybody uses affirmations, but affirmations are just saying what it is you want to experience. How is it that you may want to feel? I would like to just interject here too, that sometimes things just don't feel real good. Life is life. Life is hard. I'm sitting here in the meditation, and it reminded me of a book I wrote. I read years ago, The Road Less Traveled by Scott Peck. And it's been many, many years, but I still remember the first line of that book. And it said, "Life is difficult." I like to pull that one out somewhere, because it's challenging. I've had periods of times where I couldn't stop crying, the grief and just how all of our emotions show up in life, and that's parts of all of who we are. I went to a therapist, the first time 30 some years ago. I said, "Well, what's wrong?" And I'm like, "Well, I have this part of me that I really like, but I have this other part that I don't like, and I want to get rid of it." She said, "Irene, make friends with it. It's part of you." So, yeah, just some interesting little lines you hear along the road in life that touch you and help wake you up. Particularly, I guess I didn't have much guidance growing up, so it's kind of been a search and figure it out, feel it out kind of adventure for me. And it has been an adventure, and I like that. And I've recently made a decision to continue to make it an adventure. I was starting to wallow down and like, oh, down to retirement, we're getting down to this and this and this. And I thought, nah, I'm changing my whole perspective on this. This is ridiculous. I've got probably the best years of my life ahead, and maybe 40 of them, who knows? So let's just change this mindset a little bit. Yeah, life is interesting, but it is wonderful. It's beautiful. I've had opportunities to travel. Just Jenny and I had gone out to Sedona in October. I've got to travel to different places. I know a lot of you have as well. And just, I just want to say to take some time to see the beauty in the world. What are you laughing about, William? Huh? Look at him down there. Bad boy. But take time to look at the beauty in the world, because it is beautiful. I know for me, it's easy to get clamped down into the telephone and reading the, emails and all the details without just taking that more expansive look of the world and just opening up and allowing all that to kind of clear ourselves out with. So here's just a simple practice that may help you to be able to become more in touch with that wholeness, with that goodness, with the faith and the trust. And that is, when you wake up in the morning, before you jump up and look at your phone or allow your mind to start rushing through the day and plotting the day, take a moment while you're laying there to be grateful for this new day. Take in a deep breath and feel the air enter your nose. Count to 4 and then release through your mouth. You may do this a few times. You may want to create a mantra while you're doing that, such as thank you. So on the in breath, you may say thank. On the out breath, you. Just say that within your own mind. This is so nice when I wake up in the morning, when I just go to that place before I start doing anything, to just get in touch with my, for me, with God, with the universe, with my breath, and whatever it is that touches you and makes you feel yourself. Throughout your day, and I wrote, perhaps when you're in the bathroom, because that's always a good time, at least for girls, when we sit, but however boys want to do it, I don't know. But to repeat your mantra and breathing a few times and feel the relaxation in your body. You give yourself time. Maybe you're on a bus, or maybe you're a passenger in a car. If the idea comes to your head, just like, and just to relax it out, let it go, all the stuff. When you go outside today, take a moment to really look at a tree, the sky, a blooming tree or flower. Notice the green that is sprouting. I absolutely love when I start to see the little green pop up. Those little dried up old dead buds. Boom, here comes this green. Like, how does that happen? It's amazing. Try to see the miracle. Just stop and see the miracle in this experience. The rebirth of nature, and we can see it as the rebirth of ourselves. So we look at that. Treat yourself the way you would treat your best friend, because you are your own best friend. And at night, before you go to sleep, try to release any resentments you may have and send love and blessings to the people or situations that may have caused you to have any of those feelings. Imagine how you would like things to be. Imagine how you would like things to feel. and create a new story within your mental vision. Reflect on your day and what you were grateful for that day. What went well? Not like our typical, what went wrong, what went wrong, what went wrong. What went well today? What are we grateful for today? And if you do feel like there was something that wasn't quite right, maybe you can do it better tomorrow. Relax, let go, and know that you are divinely guided. Because we all truly are, and it's a blessing to know that. So I'd just like to end with one of my favorite prayers, the Serenity Prayer. It says, God, grant me the serenity to accept what I cannot change, the courage to change what I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And may the best version of you be expressed today and throughout this week and forever. And much love to all of you. Thank you for being here today.